Welcome to another episode of W.K.H. I'm your host, Edwin Perez, aka Couch Buddha, and I have the lovely Pam, and I cannot pronounce your last name till this day.
Vangelligen. It's okay.
Say it one more time now.
Vangelligen.
Vangelligen.
Vangelligen with a B.
Oh, with a B. Oh, Vangelligen. Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool. Does it mean anything?
I mean, if you translate it, it means like from Bellingen. Realistically, it doesn't really mean anything else. It's probably from like old times. Like
Is
an old
Bellingen
city.
another word for like Belgium?
I don't think so. Maybe it was like an old town back in the days, but that's
Okay,
it.
gotcha. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously, I know you, but the listeners a little bit about what you do.
Yeah. So my name's Pam. I'm Belgian. Like I said, I just translated my last name. So I am Belgian. I moved here when I was 19.
To Jacksonville or like Florida, the States?
No, like Jacksonville. I mean, that was the only place I moved to was Jacksonville, Florida.
Ugh,
I've literally moved once in my life.
On behalf of the United States, I am sorry that this is the first experience that you got.
It's not
of
so
the
bad.
States.
No, it's not so bad. But yeah, no, I've moved here and now, I run a business. I own rental properties and trying to have more.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all.
I appreciate it. This is my first female guest on the show.
Yay.
It's a pleasure. Cheers to that, to the very
Cheers,
first
yay.
woman on WKH. I brought you in here because you are a six-figure entrepreneur. And not to bring gender into anything, but you're a woman. It doesn't negate the fact that you can accomplish that, but it's more to the eye, because we talked about men and you were like, yeah, most men watch the podcast or whatever, but to most men, when they see that nowadays, they think of like, oh, she has to be doing something that involves her body. Am I wrong? Like, do you
No.
feel like that's a fair statement? I'm not saying that it's a good statement. I'm just saying, do you think that's kind of what the...
No, I think that is a very fair statement. I think even women in general, when I tell them I do like eyelashes and like I have my permanent jewelry business and stuff, and they're like, that's what you do for work? Like, people are like not that impressed. And I'm like, I do actually really well because I do have a bachelor's in chemistry with a minor in math.
Okay.
And like, oh, people are so impressed by that. But my regular job, they're like, oh, the disappointment. Regardless if it's a man or a woman, but especially when it's a man, when they realize how much money that make, they're like, oh, like, what else do you do on on the side? Like,
They don't think that that's the big picture.
no,
think
they
that's,
don't.
like,
They don't think I'm better
supplemental.
than my body. Like, they don't realize that there's more. I have more to offer than that. And
Right.
I don't judge anybody for doing whatever they want with OnlyFans. Like, girl, to get their money
Yeah.
however they want. Good for them. That's just not me. But yeah, it's really sad, like how low. And I'm not really a feminist, so it's not. I never have really a problem with men and stuff. But I don't know why men think so low of us that we're like just not capable of doing it. When like actually and I was talking to like the couples therapist recently, and he said that it's a new trend now. Women start making a lot more money than their husbands. That's really common now.
So I'm going to put a pin on that because actually it's very interesting. With what you said about people being like almost disappointed, do you feel like it comes from lack of ignorance that they don't see that there's... Because I was one of those people. I'm not saying I was disappointed like, oh, Pam just does lashes. No, it was more like, wait, you can make six figures doing lashes? That was my reaction.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, I was thrown off. So, like, do you feel like it comes from a place of ignorance where they just don't know that there's money in that industry?
I think, yes, I think that's a lot to do with it. I think people think it's really easy as well. They're like, they think it's like a 5 minutes process and not that many people want to get it done. It's a lot longer process and a lot of people want to get it done.
Do you mean process of learning how to do it or just on the day of, like you're doing
On the day
lashes?
of.
Okay.
Like, I think people think, oh, she has like 2 clients a day and it takes 5 minutes. No, like it takes at least an hour minimum and I have like 12 clients a day. Like, it's slowed down a little bit now with this economy, but legit, usually it's 12 clients a day.
And it's
now
12
each.
hours a day.
Yes, it's very hard work. It's really long work. The money's good, but it's a lot of work. A lot of training, a lot of education come behind it. I love it. I think it's amazing. I don't really see it that much as a job because it's fun. I'm like hanging out with my girlfriends all day. We're like talking shit about like whatever, boyfriend, husbands,
You get all the tea. You get all the tea.
I get all the tea, all the
Right.
drama. It's incredible. So it doesn't really feel like work very often, and I
Right.
love that about it, and
That's
I get to
amazing.
network with women all day, and yeah, it's awesome.
That's amazing. I'm glad that you mentioned like networking with women all day. Do you think that, back to what you were saying with men, nowadays women making more money than men, how do you think that makes men feel from a woman's perspective? Do you feel like we feel less of a man?
I think men are so uncomfortable, and I think men, I really will stand by this. Men are all in their soft girl era currently. I'm sorry, Edwin. I really do think that, like, I strongly, this is not admitting it out loud, I strongly
You're saying
do
what you say.
admit it. I really think gender roles are things. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
think the men
Mm-hmm.
have certain duties, and I think women have certain duties. And I mean, we started evening out more duties. I see why. I understand why women go back to work and stuff. But we kind of are in position now where, like, men are like, oh, you know how to do everything and you can work, perfect. Now you're gonna do everything in the house. I'm not gonna touch anything. I'm gonna come home and sit my ass on the couch and do nothing while you take care of everything because you claim you're superwoman.
So
So
so let me, just on behalf of men everywhere, those aren't men, because the
as I
way I
said, a
see
lot
it
of men are
is
in their soft girl era. That's
right.
being soft.
So it's a soft. So like the way I see it is, it's a team, right? If I chose you, because it's a choice on both ends, not just me. Oh, I chose you because you're my woman. Like, you also chose the man, you know. And my mom's always said, a woman's here out here to pick. A man has to be the one worth picking. You
Yes.
know, like, you gotta earn that title. Like, you can't just say you're a man and just because you have something between your legs. You gotta play the role of the man as well. If And I told this to my girl, you know, I have a vision problem, so at night she has to look out for me. When we're walking, she in a way, she's the man. She's a leader in that case. And a woman can be a leader. It's not a gender role, but it's just, in this case, she's leading me.
But it's about
If
who's
something
better at doing what.
Exactly.
Yes.
But then guess what? If somebody breaks through this front door, it's not gonna be her walking out there, you know, with a stick or something. It's gonna be me.
With a
You know, even if,
stick.
hey, cause I'm Hispanic.
Just picture you with your little
Yeah,
stick
with a
there.
big. I actually have a big ass like two nails drilled into the freaking stick, so it's just ready to go. But you know, I hate that, and I hate that because I grew up with a single mother, so I always looked up to women. I put women in a pedestal because I see my mom quit jobs, curse out her boss, and like do shit that most men would be too scared to do. You know, there's times where I'm like, oh man, I'm intimidated to talk to this boss. My mom's like, you better go tell that motherfucker how you feel, and I'm like, damn, my mom got more balls than me. You know, so I never. To be honest, I mean, like, maybe I'm a rarity, but most men that I know too don't see it that way. If you make more money, go. You are my girl, my wife, whoever you are in my life. If you're making more money than me, I'm seeing it as a team effort. Because of my manhood, I'm what's the word I'm looking for? Competitive. So I'm gonna want to make more than you, but that has nothing to do with like a I want to shit on my wife and make more money than her.
I think it's great that you see it as like an inspiration versus
Yes.
seeing it as like, I'm gonna drag her ass down because
No.
I can't be in the same level. But I will say, I think 4 years ago your speech would have been a little bit different. You've like gone like 3 years, like I can tell like you're a lot more like grounded. I feel like before you, like I told you before, you've been more macho man. Now you finally see where we should be at, and I wish a lot more men could see how it is. And it's not about like,
What do you think of when you say, because you've mentioned this word a couple times since you've came in here, macho man. What is this macho man? Do you mean like misogynistic in a way? Or
yeah,
do you-
like I'm the boss. I decide of everything. I do all the manly stuff. Yeah.
I mean, being in a
that's-
relationship has helped me. Also, like we talked about right before we started recording, God has humbled me. You know, I feel that as a man, you have to get humble when your ego gets too far in front of you.
Yes.
You know, so we have to almost like a typewriter, just bring it just bring it back for a second. And
But that allows you to grow.
You're right. It allows you to grow. And so as a businesswoman, what's some advice you have for other women out here that are like either probably still working a job, or maybe even if it's not just lashes, they're trying to like do their own thing. Like, did you ever work like a 9 to 5?
Oh, actually, I was reflecting on that the other day. I'm like, I've actually never had a 9 to 5, which is
Yeah.
like kind of weird. And, you know, things have slowed down a little bit, which is normal. You know, people are broke right now and stuff. I get it. And like the other day I was thinking about it. I'm like, am I going to have to go work a 9 to 5 again? Oh, that's weird. Like, I mean, I probably will never get to this point. I'm like, no, I know I will always find other ways of making money. Like
For yourself.
For myself, yeah. Lashes were just the beginning. You know, now I started permanent jewelry. I have rental property. I have a bunch of other things that I want to do, like to grow and have. I don't want to be tied down with the boss. I know I can do everything a boss needs to do, like manage the money, manage the finances, deal with your taxes and all that stuff. I'm like, I don't want to have someone else take a cut of like, I don't want to be the third person in a row. Like I want to stay where I'm at. Like I enjoy being where I'm at. So just I think more women need to just do it. If that means that like at night instead of going out to the bars, you're gonna work on your new business on the side, do it. I think having a 9 to 5 is great because it's giving you stable income.
And discipline to have to work a certain hours.
Yes, and then you make that money to pay your bills and put a little extra on the side for your new business, and you do the business on the side. And you know you will always have that major 9 to 5 income. You know it's going to put a roof over your head, but in your spare time, I think it's really good to have like a little sense of purpose, because when you work for someone else, you don't really have I feel like you don't really have that sense of purpose as much as you do when you work for yourself, because when you see your sales going up, when you meet all these people, you're like, wow, I did that. I feel like that means so much more than when you're like, oh, I pitched this thing for my company. Now they're going to make an extra $1 million this year. And you get like this much of it.
Right.
So I think just a lot more people, even men, I think a lot of people need to like just do it. But I think TikTok has made this idea that now like being like self-employed is like so easy, and everybody's like, I just want to work for myself. I'm sorry, but being an Uber driver or delivery driver doesn't, like, it is being self-employed in a way, but you're still working for a company.
Correct.
Like, you can't, like, romanticize that too much. Like, then you can do Uber on the side to make income, but you need to have your regular job still, or unless you take Uber very seriously, or you take delivering very seriously.
Right.
But I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to work a 9 to 5, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, and they get really picky and choosy after. And I'm like, if you want to make this much money, maybe you have to start with a 9 to 5, because your 9 to 5 can buy all of your investment property. Like my parents have 9 to 5, they bought a bunch of investment property, they made it work. Everybody could do it. All it comes down is honestly money management too.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yes, money management, and very simple, funding your dreams. I think that's what I've talked about this with like most men, right? Because what you're saying is literally what men are traders, because a lot of people in the stock market talk about funding your dreams. That's you funding your dreams. And I think that if you're too tired, when you get out of your 9 to 5, if you're too tired to do anything for yourself, you need to leave that job. I've always said that. If you are too tired from your 9 to, because you bring up good points. A 9 to 5 is supplement. It's not like right now it may be the meat and potatoes, right? It's not a side. That's why they call it a side hustle. Right now it's your main dish. Cool. If you start putting a little bit of peas here and there, right? And then a little bit of mashed potatoes here and there, then you have a whole side that's making you money on its own. Same thing with money management. I mean, when I bought this house, I wasn't making more than $40,000. I was making about $43,000 a year. You know, and people were like, oh, you got a house. And I'm like, yeah, dude, but it's just like a lot of times that it has to do with saving and not just saving, because I've seen people get a house my age and lose it in 2 years.
Well, it's all about being disciplined. That's really the thing. It actually doesn't really matter how much money you make. It's all about how disciplined you are and how far you want to see your dreams. So you're like, and then maybe for you say you don't want to be tired after your 9 to 5. I understand people get tired after their 9 to 5, but it's kind of also about like, maybe you can't go to the gym for a year, or you can only go on walks for a year. And you listen to podcasts while you're going on your walks, or even at the gym, you listen to like information to supplement to make the new side hustle. You have to make a commitment and be like, my goal is to make $1 million a year. What can I do to get there? I might have to commit, like to do like sacrifice in the way, but I have to do it. Even if I'm tired from my 9 to 5, if you're motivated enough, you will have the energy to do your other business. And if on weekends, instead of going to the bars and partying, I'm not saying don't ever go out or never do anything, but like on weekends, we can all spend out of those 2 days off 6 hours on our business every week.
You know what I like about you, Pam? I'll share this to people because they don't know you, but I've had this energy when I hang out with you, and I think I've said this to our mutual friend, Caroline. There's an inspiration that I get around people because you are one of the few people I can count the 6-figure earners in one hand that I know in my personal network that are like, hey, I can call them and hey, how's it going? You know, about 5 of them. And you guys all have a similar sense of energy, if you will, when we go out. Because you just said it. Instead of going out and spending money and doing this and that, you know, you're not saying not to go out, but you're saying instead of spending all your money on that, focus on this. And I find it funny that when people go out, those people that go out every weekend, they're like, wait, how much is it again? Wait, what? He's like, hey, cash at me. Bro, when I'm hanging out with people like yourself, I'm not saying that you're always going to pay or that you have to pay, right? Yeah. But I'm saying there's a certain energy of like, there's no worry about how many beers can I get? Or how much is your beer? Is there any specials? We don't ask questions like that. And I've hung around you guys and I've always been like, I've been the broke one and been like, how much is the picture? Bro, don't worry about it. I got it. I'm like, well, how much is it so I can cash app you? Bro, I just said don't worry about it. Because you're so used to hanging out with these cash app me, Zelle me motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong, because I'm like, yo, cash app me that 10, bro.
Yeah.
But their energy that you're saying is, if you really want to go out, do it right.
Yeah, there's a balance.
There's a balance.
I know I work
right.
my butt off, so if I don't go out often. So when I go out, I don't have to worry.
Exactly.
Like and I prefer doing that than going out every weekend and have to worry every weekend. That's just how I see it. And I don't really enjoy going out that much, to be honest. That's what
Are you because you're
to.
introverted, or do you feel like it's because you just don't like being out?
I don't particularly like being out. I think also my social battery with my job, because I'm constantly like networking and talking to people and stuff like that. And honestly, I'm with my friends all day already. So I'm like, why do I have to go out and be with friends again and do more and give more of my time, you know?
Right.
It's my grounding time. And I've learned to, I think, enjoy a lot more of the little things. Like this morning, I was cutting yellow kiwis and like cleaning my blueberries.
There's
and those
yellow kiwis?
They're bomb. They're so good. Oh my gosh, they're so good. I love yellow kiwis. Green kiwis are so like, no. The yellow kiwis are so much sweeter. They're so good.
I didn't even know that was
You guys need to try yellow kiwis, please.
There you go. Sponsored by Yellow Kiwis.
Yes. But I just learned to enjoy a lot more of the small things, honestly. And I think everybody learned to like, and I actually used to love extravagant stuff. I used to like want to have the nicest of everything. And now I have a few really nice things that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And I learned to enjoy everything else, are like the simple little things.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's amazing. I'm so glad I finally like, I think it's growth too, like from 4 years ago when I met you, like we were talking about, like, have you grown? I've grown too with that aspect. And I don't like, when I think about all the stuff that I enjoy in life, going out, partying, getting sloshed and all that stuff, it's just not for me. And when I see people that spend $300 at the bars, I'm like, you tell me you can't spend $300 on your business, which realistically to start an efficient business, probably need $1,500. Like,
you could literally start like pressure washing for $1,000.
Exactly. You could. So I'm like, you didn't have to go out for probably like 5 weekends, and you would have enough money to like have your pressure washer. But you're telling me you don't have money to like start another business, and that you're complaining about that your 9 to 5 is not giving you enough money.
Get them paid.
Like, that's a choice. It comes down to like your personal choice.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with the personal choice, but you can't bitch about being broke all the time if you see that your money is literally you're throwing it out the window.
Exactly.
You know, and because I like controlled settings. So I'm more of a house party kind of person. I always have been, because one, I can control who comes into my house. I can control the kind of people, right? Like the energy I have. Like, I know no drama, no beef. There's never been a fight in any of my parties. One time I had to kick somebody out, but it's a separate story. But there literally hasn't been any problems. And then also cheaper. If you're going to spend $100, because you're going to spend, me and my girl go out, it's going to be easy, $100 just on drinks. Easy. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, for $100, I can literally have 5 other people over, my cousins, because that's really who I hang out with, my family, my best friends. And I hang out with them, and I'm like, damn, for $100, I could buy like 2 cases of beer and some pizza.
Yeah.
Everybody gets fed.
Yeah,
and then
feed us and drink, and we all drink, yep.
And we're hanging out, and then instead of just 2 people going out to drink, plus gas, too, we got to go to the beaches. You know what I'm saying? I'm always thinking about that. You ever seen Everybody Hates Chris?
No.
The show? Oh, God. There's this, like, really cheap, the dad's like, somebody spilled the milk. He's like, hey, come pick this up. That's 62 cents worth of milk. Like, it's just, I'm always like tracking, like, I don't know why I'm a numbers guy, but on the money aspect of it, I wanted to ask you a question. So you grew up, how old were you when you came to the States?
I was 19.
19. 2 questions. One is, what brought you to the United States? And the second thing is, do you think that there's a difference between the European mindset of money and the American way of money?
Okay, so first, I moved here because of socialism.
Really?
That is, I understand why people appreciate socialism, like socialism. My mom's American. My dad's Belgian. My mom likes socialism. She thinks, she is so worried about healthcare and all that stuff. So for her, it works great. I'm on the other side of the spectrum. I'm like, okay, like, I don't believe in all it. I think there's better technique. I think there's a better way. I'm not saying America's way is better.
Right.
I think we need to be more in the middle. And I think in Belgium we're too much an extreme, and I think in America we're too much an extreme. We need to be a little bit better.
Too much capitalism and too much socialism.
Yes,
like
exactly.
Middle ground.
I think we need a little bit more of a middle ground. But for me, for my lifestyle and where I'm at right now, maybe once I have kids, it might change. But as of right now, for me, I prefer living in America. I don't want 60% of my salary being taken away from me.
60?
It's around that.
60?
60%. For free healthcare. Mind you, you go to the doctor, it's not free. I went to the doctor when I was there. I paid 48 euros. That's not free. With my health insurance here, I pay less than that to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
But you know, free healthcare, whatever. And you pay 60% taxes and you fund a lot of people not doing much. But that's a personal choice. People are okay with that. That's fine. That's just not what I wanted. So that's why I moved here, because I prefer the setup how we do it here. And people hate on me for that. I'm sorry, you didn't live there, so you don't know how it is. I will say a lot of people are like, well, how is it? And once they hear my side, they're like, oh, that makes sense. I'm like, the internet doesn't promote the right stuff. The news doesn't promote the right stuff. If you really are there and you really look into the science behind it, like, you will see. But I think unless you've actually lived there and worked there, you can't really tell. Because even if you do all your research and read all the papers and everything you want
it's
on
not
it,
like what actually living.
Everything is like, you know, it's screwed. They're trying to not to like really show the real reality behind it. But yeah, so I was like, I don't want to live in socialism. I can live in America and make a lot more money and be a lot more comfortable and take better care of my family. So that's why I moved here. Yeah, I mean, I also knew my hopes and dreams to buy a house there would be non-existent because the houses were so expensive, and I didn't want to live with my parents forever. So I was like, let's do it. The opportunity is nice too. You know, I lived in the same house in the same city my entire life in Belgium. You know, I went to the same school with the same people for 12 years.
And you learned English over there?
Barely.
Barely?
Barely.
So, really?
My mom spoke English to me till I was 3. Then she kind of stopped, and then after that, I barely learned English. I went to school in French. Then I learned Dutch because there's 3 languages in Belgium, but it's like mostly French and Dutch and a little bit of German. So I learned Dutch, and then when I moved here, I just made it work.
Wow.
Oh.
Damn.
And then you said something about a mindset about Americans about money and Europeans about money. Europeans are very minimalist. They're very happy with little. And I love that. I feel like when I moved here, I've learned to be a little bit more, having a little bit of wanting everything, wanting so much.
A little bit more flashy.
Yes. And now that I've like ground myself, I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm getting older. I'm like, I want less.
There's your
but
middle
more,
ground.
yes.
You found your middle ground.
Yes, more efficient, good things that I really like and appreciate. Like, I don't need a giant closet with like a million of clothes. I just want a few nice pieces that I really appreciate everywhere. You will see me out wearing the same outfit over and over because I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
But best believe that this is a good ass outfit.
Yes, exactly. So, and I think here in America, money is such a hush hush subject. People are so terrified of like talking about it. It's like
their salaries, how much they make.
Oh, it's so people are so embarrassed to like talk about it, even in debt. Like, I'm like, talk about your debt. What can I do to help you get out of debt? What can we do to talk about like what I do on the side to pay my debts off, like vice versa, you know, things that we can, or how do you save money? How do I save money? Help each other out. There's always this like such judgment mentality when it's like, no, let's uplift each other and be there for each other versus dragging each other down.
Exactly. And I think that it's like keeping up with the Joneses. Have you ever heard of that before?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So it's like that. It's kind of, you learn shit when you get older. Like, I'm like almost 30 and I'm starting, Lord, keep up with the Joneses. I didn't even know what that was until recently, but now I understand it. It's like in Miami, right? This is the best way I can kind of empathize with you and kind of feel where you're coming from is the Miami mindset to Jacksonville. Jacksonville really humbled me because, you know, when you're out there in Miami, there's a certain way that you have. If you notice, I haven't gotten a haircut maybe about like 3 weeks or so. In Miami, I had to get a haircut every week. Like, you have, like, if you don't have a haircut, you look down upon. If women don't have like certain clothes, like BBLs out there, like you're stuck. You know, there's a certain level of, I don't want to say arrogance, but like we talk flashiness. Like, you gotta have a nice car. But the same guys, if you go to South Beach, you're gonna see everybody riding Mercedes, BMWs. Follow one of those Mercedes home. I guarantee you they're gonna pull up to a lot. You're gonna pull up. You have to walk into their grandma's efficiency, which is literally like the size of my Florida room. and that's where they live, but they rather live in a small ass place than you know, have a nice car and everything.
Yes.
So
actually, it's funny you say that. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, you're fine, you're fine.
My dad, I remember I was like 8 and I went to private school in Belgium, which is it's really cheap. Like, it's not a thing. Like, here in America, you pay all this money, whatever. It's like $1,000 a year. My parents had to buy my books. That's school my mom went, whatever. But a lot of people there had money, which I was on the poorer end of the spectrum. I'm not saying I grew up in the hood or anything, but like, we were poor compared to a lot of people there. And my dad had like this rinky-dinky little like Volkswagen, and all my friends' parents had giant Range Rovers and like nice cars.
Damn.
And I was like 8, and I was like, Dad, like, why don't we have that? And my dad's like, oh, they still have payments on that car. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm telling you, those people, they don't own their cars. I own my car and I own my house. And I was like, okay. Like, I never really understood.
You never clicked it.
And
yeah.
he's so right. Like, my parents were the only people that were always going on vacation, didn't have debt. Like, they had properties. Like, it was just, and then
And
as
the
a
minimalist at the same time.
yes, because what they value is different than what other people would value. And realistically, if this person really appreciated their car and want to live in their grandma's house, that's fine. Then you can't complain about living in grandma's house.
Exactly. Right.
So,
And then, but I mean, there's also, I feel like we're getting stagnant, you know. That's why I made this W.K.H. You know, it's all about growth. Like W.K.H. Wealth, knowledge, humor. You know, the wealth aspect of life is building yourself, because unfortunately we didn't choose to have money be literally our measurement of time. You know, you get paid by the hour, you know, salary per year. You know, 6 figures is not 6 figures in your whole life. It's 6 figures in a year. So everything is measured by time with money. We didn't choose that. So now we get to play. Now you have to play the game that you didn't even enroll in. You know what I'm saying? But now you're in it. What are you going to do about it? The health aspect of thing. It's like health is wealth. I talked about that with my brother. It comes with like the knowledge of you wanting to grow. But the knowledge and the growth is, you know, W.K.H, all of it together is the growth. And I feel like not a lot of people focus on growth, because they're either like, what I was trying to say earlier is basically they get stagnant. Like, some people are just okay with what they have. There's nothing wrong with it because it's your life. But I think that our human purpose is to grow.
I think a lot of people decide to like get married really young, have kids very young, and then they have no time to like think about what they want. So then after, it's like this chase, and then you turn 50 and you're like, oh, my kids are growing up and I'm not where I want to be at. So I think the fact that we've been a bit more patient with things helps a lot with like now getting a lot more accomplished to be set up for the future as well. I think it's like, even when I walked in the vision board thing, I'm like, I think it's actually good to have a vision of what you want in the future, no matter what it is for. Because some people don't chase money. Some people chase other things.
Right.
We clearly want to chase money because this is what we think is going to give us what we want in the future. Some people, they just want to live in a trailer in the middle of nowhere, and that's what makes them happy. That's okay.
You know, I
That's
think
just
that
not me.
I think that you and I obviously see ourselves like making a family, and growing financially is gonna help you build your family. It's gonna help me build my family, and I grew up poor. I mean, I'm grateful. My mom always found a way to buy me those gifts in Christmas, like anything a Nintendo, the new Wii, the freaking PSP, like anything, iPods when they came out. Yeah,
The Wii was.
right.
I still have one to this day. I love
That's
that
crazy,
thing.
yeah.
I love that thing.
So, but at the same time, I know that the quality of time, because I know quality time, and then there's quality time. I like to call it quality time, because you and I can be really best friends and hang out here and just drink Prosecco and relax, and we can have a really great time. But if we did the same thing in a private jet, if we did the same thing in a rooftop in France, you know, I'm not saying that it negates the friendship or it makes it any less or any better, but being there is, sometimes you gotta, you know, I've heard this in the TikTok and the YouTube, but sometimes you gotta buy first class. Experience it. Experience what it's like to feel better about yourself, the confidence that you get. Buy yourself a new suit. When I went to Men's Warehouse for the first time, the lady's like measuring my, you know, the distance, the width and everything, the length of my, she's like, all right, sir, can you turn around? Oh, she called me sir. I'm like, damn. You know, I felt good. And sometimes that you need that to kind of remind you of why you work so hard. You know, so there's nothing wrong with having good things and nice things. Sometimes you need that. But I think that chasing that feeling is only temporary, because that dress is only going to make you feel fine for how many weeks? And that, that car is only going to make you feel or look cool for how long? Because I guarantee you, if you crash that brand new car and that has a dent and that shit's just like flapping over, it don't look the same, no matter what kind of car it is.
That's why the second I had a dent in my car, I was like, this needs to be fixed ASAP because I can't stand it. I can't look at it like, oh my gosh, I look like an Canadian now.
But
So
yeah,
I had a
Pam,
scratch for
and
him,
you
but-
talk a lot about personal choices. Like you use that a lot. So what do you think? What's your opinion on that? Like you use it a lot. I don't know what I'm asking. I'm sorry if I don't know what I'm asking, but I'm really just trying to pick your brain. Like you use that a lot. I haven't heard people say, "Oh, that's a personal choice." Oh, that's a choice.
Okay, so I live in a 3-bedroom condo, right? I think I live in a really nice community. I really like where I live at. Also have a very nice car, right? I have a nicer car than most of the average Joe. I built my own car.
What kind of car is it?
A Mustang Mach-E. It's a GT High Performance Edition. I got it all decked out.
Drop it right there real quick. Drop the picture of that.
Mustang Mach-E GT with performance upgrade. Ready to race? 3, 2, 1, race.
I love the thing, and I know financially that was not the best decision, and it wasn't the smart decision. I spend money on nothing else. I don't spend money on anything else. So my pleasure, my small pleasure, is
Guilty
when
pleasure, yeah.
yes, is my car. I know when I'm driving, even though I barely drive, it's very safe. It makes me feel good. It's really pretty. I love everything about it. I've had it for a year and a half now, and I have no regrets, regardless of how horrendous the car payments are. So thank God I have a business that helps a lot too.
Right. Of course.
But that's my choice. I know I prefer to have like a really nice car than having right now a humongous house. Because realistically, if I added like
You don't have kids. I mean, you don't need all that
I don't need any
space.
of that stuff.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like, what I
that's-
get to have is a really nice car. And once it's paid off, I mean, car's a depreciating asset, of course, and it's a liability. But like, still, like, as time goes, it's still going to be worth quite a bit. And I already told myself the next car I'm getting, it's going to be a cash car. And what I'll probably do is do what I did. Deck the car out, buy my dream car, and then next car I'm getting cash. And
Right.
after like years
So that
go,
way you don't even
and
have
I'll
to worry
keep-
about that.
Yeah, I'll keep saving money up whenever, and then like once that car ends, I'll get my next car after that. That's gonna be again a nice car. I'm trying to get in the cycle, so I'm like,
And if you take care of your cars, you can hand them down.
Yeah.
You know, like if you do have kids and whatnot.
well,
you
my
know,
car
you
right now, I could have kids in it and everything and be fine. It has a 7-year warranty on it and stuff, so I know I'm gonna be good for a while with it. I mean, it was a really good business expense too, so it worked out. But yeah, I'm thankful for that since it's electrical. It was great. But like, yes, that's what my choice is my car. I might not go not go out much. I might not go do all this stuff, but this is what I spend my money on is my car. But I made sure when I bought my car, I still was saving as much as I usually was. I was still maxing my retirement out. I was still investing in the stock market. And whatever I had left, I was like, okay, I can afford this car. And I got the car.
Right. Good shit.
So I know that right now, like since I bought my car, I haven't bought a Louis Vuitton bag. I haven't bought a Chanel bag. I haven't bought like nice pairs of shoes because right now I'm paying my car off. Whenever she's paid off, maybe I can start.
But
Spending
it's
things.
almost a commitment thing. Like you committed to it because a lot of people get that nice car that they want, but then they don't commit to it enough to want to pay it off. So when what they're doing is you're just getting into a cycle of debt where you're doing a trade-in. You think, oh, it's a nice trade-in. No, bro, you have negative equity on your car.
Oh my gosh,
And then
people with
you're
their
just-
negative equity blow my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're gonna have a car that's like 50 grand or not even, and you're gonna pay 90. You owe 90 on it. Isn't that insane?
Sometimes I've never heard of that. That's crazy.
No, there's a lot of
90
people that's like that because if you keep rolling over a car and a car and
Oh,
a
it
car
eventually
and a car,
will catch. Right,
yes,
right.
it will
Yeah,
because
yeah.
where does it end?
Exactly. It's just a never-ending cycle.
Yeah, because right now
And at that
all-
point, you might as well lease your car if you're gonna get a new car every so often. You know.
That's
what I mean?
but you know everybody's so against leases. They're like, oh no lease, no lease. But if you know your lifestyle is to change car every 3 years, I don't think a lease is that bad of an idea. But they want to be like, oh, but I want to own it. If you know you're gonna change car every 3 years and you're gonna have negative equity, lease your car. I know my car is I'm gonna pay it off. I'm actually putting more towards the car every month.
Absolutely. So, it came to my mind right now because I meant to ask you this earlier, and then we had a little bit of a tech issue. So, assuming, because I know you're not a single person, but let's say that you were, how would you want a man to approach somebody that, like, do you care if a man makes less than you? As a woman who makes 6 figures, do you care if a man makes less than you?
No, I don't care. I don't care if you're gonna cook, clean, help me out, take care of my dogs, which is my pride and joy because I don't have kids. That to me means more than you coming with money to the table. I don't need your money. I'm fine on my own.
Okay.
But what can you do is help me out at home. And if I'm gonna get off of work and you're gonna be, my house is gonna be spotless, I will take great care of you back. I mean, I don't even mind cooking, cleaning. I don't mind doing it, but it's nice when someone does take the load off your shoulders. And if you are gonna, like, even if a guy approached me, I plan my entire life right now. Please, if you want to take me out, that's great. Plan where to be at. Come and pick me up. I don't want to have to, I want to have to shut my brain off. I'm a businesswoman. I'm in my masculine energy all day. When I'm with you, I want to be, even if I have to pay for our dinner, I want to be in my like
Feminine
soft,
energy.
feminine energy,
Yeah.
soft when I'm off. That's
Yeah.
all I can ask for.
I
That's
like that
all
you
I
brought
want.
that up because not a lot of women can admit that they have masculine energy, and not a lot of men can admit that they have feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good balance, and I'm proud of you for acknowledging that because I think that women sometimes lack that I just vulnerability, and then sometimes men lack like the hump. I mean nowadays at least like the ganas is what I call it in Spanish. Ganas just means wit. That's the word, wit. It's like you want it, like, okay.
I don't
instead
even
of,
know what that means.
Think about it like this: like if you're cleaning a table, instead of cleaning like you've seen somebody just clean a table like that, my mom would be like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
shaking the fucking table while she's cleaning it. That's wit. That
Yeah,
you're not
she's
just
like,
doing shit.
You're
because,
being precise.
Right.
You're doing exactly. Yep.
Exactly. So, I like that because this is just for my single men out there, man. If you're ever trying to approach a lady, like, it doesn't matter how much money you make. It's about how you carry yourself. And if she makes more money than you, bro, just let her be her. Like, I don't understand it's sometimes.
That's all we ask for. I just want a man who like lift me up. I don't want to be left down. I know it's intimidating. I understand, but like also, then if I'm killing it, you can kill it too. Just you should listen to my advice. See what I have
Right.
to give to the table. Then we can go together. You can help me with my business, and then we are making money together.
Right.
If you help me with my business, there's a lot of things that like we can do as a team. It's a lot more. And we said earlier about delegating. I can delegate a lot more to my husband, and I can delegate to a stranger.
Yes.
Because I'm like, I can like monitor you
trust.
somewhat,
Right.
or
Yeah.
I know you're not gonna like steal my machine or steal whatever I have, my knowledge, So there is something there with that too. And again, money managing. If I know how to manage my business, I'm gonna help you. Even if you make half my income, I'm gonna help you manage it correctly to be able to be where I'm at.
It's a team. It's a teamwork.
And it's not, yes, it's teamwork because it's not always all about money. My dad makes less money than my mom. Well, now he's retired, but even before he was retired, my dad cooked, cleaned, did laundry. My dad did everything. My mom worked because she was making more, but she was the project manager of absolutely everything.
Wow.
And that's just how it was. So to me, even when I moved here and I was like, oh, men have such this issue with like, the woman making more and having to pick up like a load, like put a load of laundry in the washer, God forbid. It's like, oh, I can't do that stuff. It's like blew my mind because I'm like, my dad did my laundry my entire life. I mean, I won't let him touch
It's
my
kind of
laundry
contradicting,
anymore.
don't you think? A little bit, because if it's like, I'm the man of the house, I shouldn't be doing laundry. But if you're the man of the house, you believe that the man of the house should make more, but you don't.
Yes.
It's
Yep.
contradicting.
It
Like,
is very
bruh,
contradicting.
Like, get your ass up, bro. If my girl makes six figures, I'm not saying like not necessarily just six figures, just more than me.
Yes.
And my girl just tapped me on the shoulder and say, "Hey, big dog, go ahead and take the load off, baby. You good?" When she come home, I'm gonna massage those feet. I'm gonna rub those cheeks. I'm gonna put her to sleep. Whatever she need, I'm gonna have food ready to go.
And men don't understand that. Men do not understand that. And that's the biggest issue. Like I just like even with my relationship with Brian and stuff, I think he's realized now that being kind, being soft, doing a lot more for me is all I've been asking for. I don't care about anything else. And these men are
Because
like,
we get so consumed with our own ego. I
Yes.
think, man, we get consumed with, and I can admit that, And I'm not saying that I would be a stay-at-home dad either. Don't get me wrong, because I wouldn't. And I wouldn't want my wife. That's another thing. It's like I see things both ways. I don't expect my girl. I told my girlfriend, I'm like, hey, you stick with me long enough, you won't have to work. But that doesn't mean sit your ass on the couch and be lazy all day. That doesn't mean not do shit because I'm taking care of you.
Oh,
It
no.
means I need you to, okay, hey, like if I believe in your business, let's say, gender roles, let's say that your man made a lot more money and you did lashes. I believe in your business so much, don't even worry about it. Don't work, focus on your business, grow that. That's what I would do. And even if it was vice versa, I would expect my wife to be like, hey, baby, look, I need $2,000 to start this business.
Yeah.
She believes in me. She'll give me those $2,000 and I'll work for it. It's not like I'm just going to be like, oh, give me 2,000. Nah, it didn't work out. I'm going to work for those $2,000, but it's a team effort, and it's like if household income.
Yes, so actually,
there is no gender role in household.
That's the thing. Even actually, Brian the other day asked me. He was like, "Oh, I'm thinking about starting this and this," and I was like, "Okay, well," he's like, "I'm gonna start what I have, but like once I see growth, we can fund it. I need to see growth. I need to see it started, and we can make something happen because it is household income.
Right.
We can make some shit happen.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why more men are not comfortable with that, because that does not affect your masculinity.
It doesn't make you less of a man.
You hustling is not makes you less of a man. I don't understand. It makes you actually more of a man in my eyes. So I don't understand why all these men are like terrified of like. I think that's why we see a lot more this culture with like this whole like blue collar boy. Like a lot more women want to date blue collar guys because like they're actually working and don't mind being humble, because it sucks to be in the dirt and doing all this stuff, but you're doing something in your life.
Yes.
And all these guys are like, oh, I'm too scared. And that's what most men are like that right now. They're like, they don't want to get their feet dirty,
They
or
want to
they
get
don't
their
wanna-
hands dirty.
Yeah, they refuse to, and I don't understand why. And it's like, with this economy right now, we cannot afford to fight over who makes more money.
Right. We need to get out there and get it.
If you're in a relationship and or a couple, even if you're just dating, even if you're not married, and you decide to combine your income, you have to see it as a together versus this whole separating thing. And you can use it as separate as being like, I want to make more than her, as like motivation, inspiration, not as like, I'm going to drag her ass down.
Right. No. Absolutely.
So.
It's definitely lifting each other up. I appreciate all the great wise words that you had for men, and not just for men. I think, like you said, for women too. Only thing I could say is women nowadays, it's our fault. Men, I'm gonna take some accountability. I think that because the United States, not just the United States, just men overall have ruled the world in a certain level of sense. We have put women in a different place. And they have developed and evolved that now their freaking stilettos are on our necks, like stepping on us. It's like, this is what you get for fucking hundreds of years of misogynism. And me, like I said, if I didn't grow up with a single mom, I would have probably felt the same way.
I think it's interesting you say that, because do you watch House of Dragon?
I haven't started, so do not spoil it. I
No.
have not started.
But that show literally shows how even when all these kings thought they were like the boss and stuff, women are still
Women
the boss.
are always in the background.
They're still in the background.
Yeah.
Like, it takes like, what does it say? It takes like a great woman to make a great man, or something like that.
It takes a real woman to make a real man.
Yeah, something around those lines. Yeah. And I really think we stand by that. I mean, I stand by that. I really think like we need to help each other out and be there for each other versus like this whole like gender fights. Because if like my parents, my dad cooked, cleaned, did laundry, did everything. My mom didn't, and it was okay. Nobody cared.
Right.
And if their marriage is working out perfectly fine. They've been married for years. They go on vacation every weekend. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, it's incredible for them. So we need to really like try to like, men need to humble, women need to step up. And humble sometimes too, because I think a lot of women are like, oh, I'm capable of doing this, this, and this, and this. And when it's time for you to perform, you're not performing. I mean, so.
It's time to go ahead, ladies. It's time to go ahead and tie that scrunchie on the back of your. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. That was terrible. But you definitely are spitting some facts, and I appreciate you coming on to the show and giving us a little bit of an understanding of, honestly, an entrepreneur. A woman entrepreneur, what kind of makes it like harder for you to be taken serious. I hate to say that, but sometimes it's the truth.
That's really true. I did want to add stocks. Women are terrified of trading. There's this thing now. Remember, see our group chat? I don't answer in it very much because I think, I'm sorry, like if you are in a group chat and I don't ever answer, I apologize in advance. I think it's like this whole like men group. It's like, oh, I did this today and I traded and I made $10. Woo! And I'm like, have you guys seen how much money I have in my portfolio? But I haven't, even Caroline told me, just post how well you're doing. And I'm like, Nah.
It doesn't matter. Men are more
good.
competitive. Men are more to the day to day, and then women. I feel like you're right. It's like women are not even engaged in it. Women aren't, and I feel like I'm not sure if I'm the one that like put you on because I know that you were always in investing. But I remember when I first made the Thousandaires chat, you were one of the first people to be like, "Oh, really? Cool." And then you kind of like go away for like a couple months and come back, be like, "Hey, remember when you guys told me to buy this, this, and that? Here it is."
Because
what
men
I'm
are
saying?
like, they want money
Yeah,
instantly,
men are very,
and I'm
yes.
holding long term, and I'm
Warren
like,
Buffett that shit.
yeah, you have to, and there's a balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably too conservative in my investments sometimes, and I think you have to be in the middle. But I do think a lot of women don't find it approachable to invest in stock because they think it's like some men stuff. They're like, what is Forex?
Right.
What is like buying like mutual fund? What is that? I'm like, you're a woman, you can still figure that stuff out. And so how many of my clients come to me and like, can you help me? I'm like, I got you. Like, we'll open you a affiliate account. Like, we can do Robinhood. We can find a way to get you going. And I wish that was a lot more like, I actually wish that was something that men would talk a lot more about to women.
Okay.
So,
Well, don't think. See, the thing is that sometimes women will be like, "Oh, you're mansplaining it to me." You ever heard of mansplaining?
I think it comes down to communication.
Yes,
but
it
yes,
does
I
come down
have
to
heard from
it.
mansplaining.
That's funny. I mansplained what mansplaining is to you.
You mansplained a lot of stuff to me. So in general,
It's
when I
okay.
hang out
And I'm
with you-
sorry. We don't mean to do that. I think it's just more of like a, do you know? I don't think it's like because you're a woman you don't know. I just
Oh no, I
ask
think
'cause, like,
I think a lot of times I think men think women are idiots, and I'm like, oh
you guys are not the most logical creatures, but I wouldn't call you idiots.
no, I think men are a lot more emotional than we are.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna have to, because I have seen some emotional men that cannot control their anger, that cannot control their emotions. Like 'cause men have different emotions. Men don't cry, but men do have temper tantrums. So I can see what you're saying. It has some truth to it. But with stocks, ladies, I mean, take it from somebody who obviously is making six figures, doing their own thing. Even if you don't make six figures, I've said this to a lot of single moms. I have talked to a lot of single moms when I did life insurance. I still do whenever my friends, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to save." Fuck saving. Saving is
I don't agree with that.
saving is, well, let me explain what I mean by
okay.
fuck saving. Like, saving is kind of like trying. And I've always heard this in sales. Trying is an attempt to fail. So when you're saving, what are you saving for? Oh, for a rainy day. Then expect there always going to be a rainy day. If you invest and then save, that's different, because then you could still have your rainy days, but the investment is not touched. For example, that stock money that you have, are you planning on using that to buy your new car?
No,
Are you planning on touching that for next property or anything anytime soon?
no.
Right. That's what I mean. But you're not technically saving. You're investing. You're putting it away for something else. And if anything, that money doesn't even exist.
The money I have in the stock market doesn't exist.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing.
But
you're
you do
gambling.
have savings that in case, like, oh
Yes.
shit, like God forbid you got into an accident, you need to pay a deductible. Let me just take that out of my savings.
But I have another savings for that. I think
Okay,
a lot more
but
people should have that.
Point
But
is,
yes,
that's
yes.
my point. So saving, when I say fuck savings, is like people think that savings is one big savings for everything. Like you just said, you have to compartmentalize it and be like, okay, wait, this is for rainy day, this is for vacation, this
Yes.
is for my household
Yes.
goods, and this is, for investments.
Yes.
There's brackets within savings. So when people think of savings, it's like, oh, I just want to have 1,000. You know that 43% of Americans don't have $1,000 saved up?
And my therapist told me that too. Yep.
That's crazy.
And if they had most people I know can't even afford a set of new tires. But me, every month I added how much it was for new tires. I know when my new tires are due. I divided.
But so if it takes you
my
2
amount.
years to get new tires, divide the whatever, let's call it $1,000
Yep.
in 2 years.
And
That's
same thing with
interesting.
maintenance in my car.
Very
I know
good.
maintenance. I add up everything. Even my Amazon membership. I know it's $140 a year. I'm like, cool. I put like $15 in the account every month. A lot. That's two separate savings, exactly like you were saying. My investment is savings, but it's not. Actually sometimes wonder, why am I investing so much? Because like, I probably won't pull it out.
Right.
And then that's the biggest thing. Like, I don't know if you listen to Choose FI, it's like Choose Financial Freedom. I think it's really important, even if you're not super into your finance, to learn a lot more about like financial freedom.
And literacy.
Yes, because
Right.
it's just going to help you learn to see what you can do to help yourself out, and it will help. Because like if you have a high yield savings account, a lot of people don't consider those things. It can really help you grow.
Yeah.
You're making money off of your own money, even
Right.
if you're going to pull it out at some
At
point.
least more than the inflation rate. Because
Yes.
if this point, what's the point? And that's why another reason why I say fuck savings is because people's traditional savings is, let me put it in the savings account in the bank, and
Get 3
$500 exactly $500 is only going to make you 3-5 cents in a year. where a high yield savings account out of that $500 might make you $30.
Yep.
So
Yes.
that's crazy. That's really crazy. Any last words that you'd like to say to the audience or anybody else before we end the show or the episode?
No, just everybody. Like, I mean, I guess feel free to reach out to me. My Instagram is Pam VBLG. Then Pam's Lash Boutique. I also have Pam's Jewelry Boutique. Feel free to reach out if you need like any help with business, finances. You're a man, woman, doesn't matter to me. I really like, this is what I like doing. I enjoy doing that, like almost like as my hobby. So feel free to reach out, and yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you
so much
me.
for having us. Cheers again to the very first
Cheers.
woman of W.K.H. And talk to you guys next time.